Good morning, y'all. So I have a message that I received this morning, and bear with me while everybody jumps on and Instagram sends out the notifications. Good morning, or good afternoon. Okay. Sam wants me to update you guys. Okay, so to start, Telegram link is in my bio if you want to receive updates. We found out that was actually the easiest way to get updates to you whenever I'm going live. So if you want to follow me on Telegram, I'll be sending out updates before I go live on there, just so you know, because throughout the last year, especially when I started talking about Revelations last year, Instagram has kind of been slowing down your exposure to my content, as well as my YouTube. So, but see, now they just sent the message. If you're on YouTube, go to my description and you'll find the Telegram link in my description link. But if you are on Instagram, you can find my Telegram link on my link in bio, where you can follow me, and I'll send out updates whenever I post something, whenever I have restocks, because I know a lot of you guys want to know when restocks happen, whenever I'm going to go live, whenever I post zodiac readings, whatever I'm doing. Let you guys know. Another thing, after popular request, I asked Spirit if I could list the New Year's deep cleanses again. I have posted 10 more for availability. They're restocked. So if you wanted to order the 3-day cleanse, the 3-day deep cleanse, it's available there. And what else? And also a few more of I think there's like 3 or 4 left of the Open Roads candles. The other candles, Hexbreaker, New Love, Lover Return, Lucky Coin, Divine Justice Return to Sender have been restocked, and we will be restocking more candles coming up. And I'm starting to make more soaps again, so I'll let you guys know when the soaps are restocked. Whew, that was the spiel. But today's message, remember last year we were talking about Revelations and about how Spirit gave me a heads up that we were in the process of living out Revelations, whether you believe in the Bible or not. There was a lot of things going on with Revelations. Now, Revelations talks about an apocalypse where pretty much the dead are brought back to life and God will come to judge the living and the dead and all that. It's very dramatic, but you know, the Bible tends to be. So we were talking about that last year, and a lot of people, obviously, if you're more into the scientific side, you don't pay attention to that stuff, which is cool. But I just thought this was interesting because there is a Viking version of Revelations of the apocalypse, and it's called Ragnarok. And in Ragnarok, it's basically not the end of the world. It's a beginning of a new world. It's the beginning of a new earth, okay? So basically, the world ends and then the beginning of the new world begins. So Sam had been playing with her Viking tarot yesterday, and she put all her cards away back in the box. This morning when I woke up, I came out and I saw this card. See that? Who does that look like to you? It looks like Jesus, doesn't it? I saw this card sitting on my table. And I was like, I have never seen that card before. And that's interesting that it would just be out sitting on my table. So I know that for a fact, like my spirit guides, they tend to leave messages randomly whenever I'm not paying attention. This morning I woke up very, very happy because I spent most of the night dreaming about my grandfather and actually conversing with him in the spirit realm. So that was actually a really great thing for me this morning. So when I came out and I saw this card that pretty much looks like Jesus with his hands bleeding and his feet bleeding, I thought this was interesting because this is a Viking tarot. So Viking tarot wouldn't have anything to do with Jesus, right? Okay. So it's interesting because in the book of Revelations, it says that the dead would be brought back to life. So it was interesting because I was dreaming about my grandfather all of last night. Literally, we were just having conversations. He was trying to make me laugh. So it was really funny. When I woke up, I was like, that's so funny that he did that. But waking up and seeing this on my table, I'm like, okay, I need to figure out what this card means. So I pull out the Viking Tarot card. I never look at these little books anymore because I usually read my tarot intuitively. But I thought this was interesting, and Spirit was like, you need to share this. So I'm sharing it with you. So this card in the Viking Tarot is the Temperance card, which, if you know the original tarot, it actually looks like an angel pouring water back and forth, right? So in this deck, though, it represents Balder, which is basically the Viking equivalent of Jesus. And it states this: his death will mark the beginning of Ragnarok. Balder is the god of light, the symbol of perpetual change, as a warning of the beginning of the end of time. Balder will be killed, resuscitated, and will fight in the final war in order to allow the world to be born again and to begin a new golden age where he will be the father of the new gods with an S. Transubstantiated by the sacrifice of his blood. So I thought this was really interesting because in the story in the Bible of Jesus, we have that story of him sacrificing and dying, right? Dying on the cross. And but when he would come back, he would come back as the Lion of God. So he would die as the lamb and then come back as the Lion of God. And when he comes back as the Lion of God, according to the Bible, he would come to judge the living and the dead, right? So I thought this was really interesting because this literally is word for word the same story of Balder, which is what the Vikings predicted would happen at the time of Ragnarok. Okay? So Ragnarok, like I said, is similar to the apocalypse, except the apocalypse basically just says, oh, the world is going to end. But it doesn't tell you that it's actually the end for a new beginning. So Spirit has been telling me that 2020 was actually the end of the world. And 2021 is the beginning of the new world. That is the reason why right now things may not make sense. Things are not going to make sense again probably until July of this year. Because Spirit is working on beginning a new world. Not the new world order that a whole bunch of people are talking about and that other dark forces are trying to bring in. It's not the new world order. It's the new earth. It's a new world. Okay, it's the revealing of the veil. So like I said, his death will mark the beginning of Ragnarok, the god of light, symbol of perpetual change, as a warning of the beginning of the end of time. So all of this stuff that we've been getting distracted by, but like the election and I'm going to call it the invisible enemy, the C-19, those things that we're getting distracted by, okay, those are warnings of the end of time. Because remember, this is actually written in multiple texts, not just in the Bible, but you also have it written in other religious texts. And the fact that it's coming up, it came up as today. This was laid on my table by Spirit this morning. This with the message that this is a warning of the beginning of the end of time and the beginning of a new world. So as of today, the beginning of the new world is starting. So don't be surprised if a lot of things don't make sense right now. If a lot of things don't make sense politically or physically, things are going to be happening that are associated with Spirit. Your ancestors may be talking to you clear as day in your dreams. Remember last year I also shared with you a dream that I had that in when I was 39 years old, that's in about 8 years from now, that I was able to see that we were able to bring back the dead. So people who had passed away were able to be brought back because technology advanced so much. This was the dream that I had, and it was a vision where I was actually traveling between the realm of the dead and the living, and we were actually watching famous people be brought back to life, like Elvis. And it was really interesting because a few months after that, Kim Kardashian posted a hologram of her father for her birthday. Okay, so in the dream last year that I shared with y'all, the people who were famous were starting to come back from the dead. And this is from 8 years from now, because I was even able to know the age that I was at that time. And so the world is in the middle of a shift. It's in the middle of a change, okay? And I actually also want to read this in Spanish for those of you who have Spanish family members who might want to hear the message. Let me see if I can find it on here. I just had it. This one. Here we go. Su muerte señala el comienzo de Ragnarok, Dios de la luz, símbolo del cambio perpetuo, como aviso del comienzo del final de los tiempos. Balder morirá, resucitará y luchará en las guerras definitivas para permitir que el mundo renazca y comience una una edad de oro. So in Spanish it says a golden age is being born now, where he will donde él será el padre de todos los dioses, transformados a través de su sacrificio de sangre. So in Spanish, when it's translated, it actually says a golden age is starting. And this may be crazy for a lot of people whom don't believe in the fact that we could possibly no longer be enslaved to the idea of money and having to go to work every day and having to not do what we're happy with. But I will tell you this: a few days ago, I had a possession with a spirit, and the spirit said to me that we are moving into this golden age. We are moving into an age where you will no longer have to work, and the reason for this is because humans are not able to elevate fast enough, because we are caught up in the daily race of chasing money rather than chasing our spiritual ascension, rather than going for our spiritual ascension, our spiritual awakening, our spiritual progress. So all of these beings that are being incarnated on earth, their progress is being delayed by the fact that instead of us working for our spiritual ascension, we are constantly working just for bare minimum survival, which is what the devil wants, which is what, whether you believe in the devil or not, the dark side that is trying to, the shadow side that is trying to stop us from elevating to our God form. Because right now we're moving into the 5th dimension. We're supposed to go up to the 9th dimension. In order to get to the realm of God, we have to raise ourselves to the 9th, 11th dimension and 11th dimension. So we reincarnate here to elevate, to learn the lessons, to elevate, so that we can have compassion for the beings that we rule over, for the animals, and for the lesser elevated beings. So we are a fractal of God that incarnates in order to have empathy for our children. So this cycle of having to work to chase money rather than working and doing what makes you happy, what makes you realize, okay, this is what I need, what helps you gain lessons so that you can elevate and get back up to the dimension that you're meant to be in. This cycle of working and suffering is no longer serving humanity. It's no longer serving our elevation. So therefore, this cycle has to be ended. So the fact that I received this card today after I literally didn't want to get out of bed this morning because it was so amazing. Just having conversations with my grandfather in my sleep and just talking to him. And it was like he was here again. And then waking up and finding this card on my table as a message from Spirit saying it's the end of times. It is the beginning of a new golden age. It's the beginning of a new golden age, which many think is not going to happen anymore because the person that they didn't want to win the election didn't win the election, or the person that they did want to win the election won the election, whatever. It doesn't matter. The election doesn't matter. That's what people don't understand. Who's president doesn't matter, because Spirit is going to use whoever they want to use to make this happen. Because the golden age is going to happen no matter what. No matter who sits on the throne of the United States of America as president, the golden age is going to happen. No matter what. So it's just a matter of who is being used as a puppet by Spirit to bring this golden age in. So there is no need to be in fear, because this golden age is going to happen no matter who's leading. Because Spirit has intercepted the evil, has intercepted the dark side. The dark wants us to believe that it hasn't been intercepted. It wants us to believe that it's won, but it hasn't won. It will never win. It keeps uprising because it wants to win, but the power of the light is too powerful to lose to the darkness. And one thing that the darkness doesn't do, that the light does, is that the light pays attention to 5, 6 chess moves ahead, because the light is only focused on winning. The darkness is only focused on destroying the light, whereas the light is trying to focus on how to contain the darkness while they make moves to win this chess game and set us up for success. There is a reason why there are so many light workers awakening at this time. There is a reason why so many light workers are coming forward at this time, why so many light workers are being awakened. And it's because the light is winning. The light has won. But there are final steps that have to be put into place in order for the golden age to start. Right now, we're in the in-between. I don't know if you guys have felt this, but we're in the in-between of the end of times and the beginning of a new time, of a golden age. We're in the limbo period. That is why things may seem like, man, I'm having deja vu. I feel like I'm repeating my days like all day long. Like I just keep repeating, doing the same thing over and over and over again. And that's because you are in a loop right now. You're in a loop. You're in a time loop, a holding loop, while Spirit works on removing and containing the darkness and placing the golden age in place. Spirit has shown me you know how a lot of scientists are saying that the magnetic fields of the earth are shifting? That's actually not what's happening. Spirit showed me that what's actually happening is that they're taking the magnetic field from the north and they're taking the magnetic field from the south and they're shifting it to the middle to surround the earth with a shield so that they can pull the darkness out of the earth and throw it out of the shield. And the shield will permanently be a protection from darkness, similar to that of the rings of Saturn. And the rings of Saturn are actually keeping in a lot of demonic dark energies that are trying to get in the way. Saturn is going to be a holding cell for these demonic entities. That's what Spirit shared with me. Saturn is being used as a holding cell for these demonic dark energies what we know as demonic energies, which in reality are emotions like fear and doubt and anxiety. Okay? Saturn is being used as a holding cell right now to imprison the demonic energies as they remove them from Earth and dump them into Saturn. The rings of Saturn are acting as a force field to hold the demonic energies in place, because energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transmuted. It can only be moved. So it's being moved from Earth to Saturn, and these demonic entities are being surrounded by the rings of Saturn to imprison them there by the beings of light. The beings of light are imprisoning these dark energies there. Now, when the golden age comes, the work of the light worker, the purpose of the light workers is to heal the earth from all of the damage that these dark energies have done on people. And all of this damage that has made you forget your divine purpose. So the earth will also be surrounded by a ring, a magnetic ring. Okay? And this magnetic ring will open the veil, but will keep earth in a place where it will host the light of the universe. This fifth dimension, Spirit explained it to me like this. When the universe started, they told me that it's going to take until the year 3132 for us to elevate fully if their plan goes as planned. So, and it's interesting because from 2021 to 3132, I didn't make this up. This is the number they gave me. Like, I literally have the notes somewhere. Can you pass me? Is the notebook there? When I was possessed, they were writing notes so I was possessed and they were writing notes in this little book. Okay? To explain to me what they were talking about, or explain to Sam what they were talking about. Oh, here it is. You see my crazy doodlings? So this is when Spirit was possessed. They were trying to explain to me what they were talking about. Let me see if I can remember. And they were talking about the different dimensions. You see the numbers here? The numbers represent different dimensions. So you know how there is a drawing of the flower of life? I believe it's called the flower of life or the seed of life, whatever. And it's a whole bunch of circles intertwined with each other. I didn't know what that really meant, but they explained it to me. And basically, when we first started, we were one. We were one. This was what we were. We were one light together. Then we added a second dimension for our growth, and that was the creation of the divine masculine. So the divine feminine was here, then the divine masculine was created. The union of the divine masculine, divine feminine, this was dimension 1. I can't write backwards. This was the first dimension, okay? The divine feminine was the first dimension. Then we added the divine masculine. And with the adding of the divine masculine, which was the second dimension, we were able to create this, which is where we are right now, which is the third dimension, where we incarnate, right? And we incarnate into physical bodies. Then they explained to me that as they're adding the third ring around the earth, okay, which is this ring here, they are adding the fifth and fourth, they are combining the fourth and fifth dimension. So you have the fifth dimension, or the fourth dimension being added, which is then allowing us to open up to the fifth dimension, okay? So it's kind of weird, but follow me here. So you have these 3 circles, which now you have the fifth dimension added to it, okay? So as they added that force field around the earth, the third dimension has been opened to the fifth dimension. Okay? And then when you put those, and then what they're doing is they're multiplying this by 3 in over certain number of years, which until we reach the year 3132, which is when humanity will finally ascend to the highest possible dimension, and where we will reach our God form again. Right now, light workers, people who communicate with spirit, we have the ability to travel between dimensions, to receive messages between dimensions. However, they are trying to marry the fifth dimension and the third dimension in order to assist us in elevating faster. I don't know if this makes sense to anybody, but bear with me. So between the year now and the year where we're supposed to elevate, they gave me a human number so that I would understand what they're talking about. They gave me a human number, but understand that your soul is infinite, so your soul will continue to live no matter how many carcasses you go through. Meaning, no matter how many shells you go through, your soul is infinite, so it will continue to transfer from this world, from this soul, from this body to another body, because in the beginning of time, our bodies actually were able, because we were actually eating the diets that the gods knew they were supposed to eat. Our bodies were able to live for thousands of years. They were able to survive for 1,000, 2,000 years, these human bodies. But because we got away from the proper diet, we got away from the proper connection with nature, we got away from all of those things, and we started to fight with each other, we started to kill each other, and all those kinds of things, the bodies started to be downgraded and bombarded with negative energy, which caused our further difficulty for us to ascend. Okay? So between the year 2021 and 3132, you have exactly 1,111 years, which I thought was really weird, because that number was the number they gave to me. So if you do 3,132 minus 2021, you get 1,111, which is the highest dimension of God, which is the 11th dimension. So I thought that was really interesting. So understand that right now what's going on, and then with having this card dropped on my the completion of the universe, having this card dropped on my table today basically said to me, okay, today marks the beginning of the golden age. Today marks the beginning of the golden age in our human form. So when I was possessed, like I said, they were writing these notes, and I was like, you can tell it was obviously not written by somebody that was, so as we get back, so right now, this is basically, they were talking about the overlapping of these circles, and at the overlapping of these circles, eventually we have the 9th dimension here. So you have the 3rd dimension, which is where we're at. And then this is like a straight shot to the 9th dimension. This path is what they are trying to create, so that, that's actually the wind that you hear howling right now. Someone asked about the wind. That's the wind. That noise you hear is the wind. So what they're trying to create right now, I know this doesn't make a lot of sense, probably. it made a lot of sense to me while I was possessed, and it made a lot of sense to Sam while I was possessed, but you know. This is, they're trying to create a bridge between the third dimension and the ninth dimension. Now, a lot of people might have heard of like the Rainbow Bridge. So the Rainbow Bridge is talked about in the Norse and Viking spirituality. The Rainbow Bridge is basically this bridge that they had where they were able to actually travel between the Earth and Asgard. Asgard was where the Nordic gods originated from. It's believed that Asgard was falling apart and they were traveling through the Rainbow Bridge, and a lot of them got stuck on Earth, and then they started their civilization with the Earth, with the humans that were here, and that's how you ended up with people like Sam's people. Yeah, so we're trying to, what the spirits of light are trying to do is kind of like create a wormhole that will allow them to basically cheat the Matrix. The Bifrost Bridge, yes. The Bifrost Bridge was destroyed by the dark side. So they had to rebuild the Bifrost Bridge so that they could get back to their true place. And they're almost done with that. But what the beings of light are trying to do is build this kind of like, you could say a wormhole. I'm not a scientist. They were trying to explain to me like quantum physics and
they were really talking quantum stuff.
They were literally talking in quantum physics stuff, and Sam was like, what?
I looked at her
and I was just like, I don't know. I'm just sitting here. They're talking. So spirit was this being was like an angel slash primordial being that was channeling and that was possessing me, and they were just trying to tell us the plan. They were trying to tell us this is what's going on so that you understand what's going on, so you don't freak out. You are in a limbo period because we are in the middle of adding a dimensional circle to the earth, and trying to create this, I guess, wormhole that is similar to the Bifrost Bridge that allows them to travel between dimensions in different parts of the different dimensions in the universe, okay? As well as creating a golden age here on the planet of Earth. Earth is not the only planet that is inhabited. There are other planets that have inhabitants. However, the veil keeps us from being able to see them. Even if we can get out into space, we're not going to see the other people that are there because they don't want to be seen. They're in a different dimension. So it's like, for example, if you were able to travel back in time, let's say here on Earth, if you were able to travel back to a time where before your house was built, let's say the house that you're living in now, if you were able to travel back in time, let's say to the 1700s, and your house was not yet built, you're not going to see your house because you're in a different dimensional time loop. You're in a different time loop. So that doesn't exist yet. So it's the same thing with us. We're in a different time loop, in a different timeline from other extraterrestrial beings. They have the knowledge to travel to us, but we don't have the knowledge yet to travel to them and to see them in other planets, even if we have the ability and technology to get there to other planets. Only when they open the portals to us are they able to enter in and able to communicate with us and our governments, which our governments are very much aware of their existence. But they think that we are not capable of handling the information. So that's the tea. Why and when can we go? I don't know that information. They just told me that they are building this. This is what they're building. This is where the plan is at. They didn't tell me why, except for making the elevation process faster, because wow, this wind is out of this world right now. basically they just said they need to make this elevation process faster. It's not helping either side to take this long to elevate humanity because all it's doing is causing us to fight even more amongst each other, and we might end up destroying each other before we actually elevate to the time that we need to elevate to. Aw, thank you, Miss Darcy. So we need to get there now, yes. Because basically they're like, okay, humans, they don't realize that they're divine, and in the process of not realizing that they have divinity in them, they are killing each other. So they're just going around competing with each other for resources that are actually abundant, but they're being told that they're not abundant by the dark side. So we are killing each other over religion and politics and ability of resources and whatever. And so they're like, this is not helping anybody. So we need to speed up the process of this elevation. That doesn't mean that we're going to go automatically now from like the 3rd to the 9th because we have to jump, but they're creating a jump to the 5th. Okay, we're in the process of creating the jump to the 5th dimension, so that way it's easier for our future generations to create the jump to the 9th and the 11th dimension. Okay, so that we can have that golden era. Right now, you may feel like you want to leave Earth because it doesn't make any sense. Don't fall into that. That is the last aspects of your shadow trying to get you to abort your mission before you make it.
I've been there.
Okay? A lot of light workers are being attacked right now because you are aware of what's going on. So you may feel like you want to leave Earth. You're like, oh, I just want to leave. Everybody is so crazy. Don't. Just center yourself, connect to nature. Just focus on connecting to nature. Because the thing is, the dark side, there's still a remnants of them. Your shadow selves, there's still a remnants of them. Okay? So they have the beings of light have to pull those shadows out of here and take them to Saturn. But if you abort your mission, you're going to have to restart all over again in another lifetime, in another time, and have to do things all over again. All right? Nobody is leaving the Earth. The new Earth, the golden age is being created here. What is being removed is the darkness. The darkness is being removed. The shadows are being pulled away. They're pulling the shadows out and sending them to Saturn and entrapping them in Saturn. And then our job is going to be to heal, to help heal the damage that the shadows have done. So trust in spirit. They're in the process of adding this circle, this magnetic circle. So it's not that the poles are shifting according to what they're telling me. Again, I'm not a scientist. They were explaining to me quantum physics and quantum mechanics that I do not understand. And I do not pretend to be a scientist of quantum physics. I'm explaining to you what they said to me. They are adding there. It's not that the poles are shifting, because a lot of people are freaking out like, oh my God, the poles are shifting and the ice caps are melting. We're going to die. The world is going to end. That's not true. They are shifting the poles to create a circle around the earth to protect the earth from the dark shadows. Okay. And basically the dark shadows can only come in if you let them in as the beings of light here. If you let them in again, that's the only way that they can come in. So they are trying to create a shield of the 5th dimensional shield around the earth to start the golden age. So that's that. All right. So, and when we're in the 5th dimensional field, we won't need to fear things anymore. So we will know innately how to take care of the earth. We will know innately, we will remember innately how to take care of the earth, how to take care of one another, how to be happy again, how to elevate to our highest potential. we will know intuitively how to do this. Okay? But spirit needs our help in the sense of trying to maintain our positivity, trying to maintain ourselves connected to the earth, trying to maintain our faith so that they can continue their work while we're doing our thing. They can continue their work. I'm putting this force field of energy around the earth to create the golden age. So don't get freaked out about who's president of the United States or who's president of whatever. That doesn't matter. Spirit is going to get done what spirit needs to get done. No matter who's president, no matter who is trying to get in the way, spirit is going to get it done because they have a timeline now. They have a timeline that God said to them, we need to get this done by this time now. So y'all need to get to work on that. So it's not going to happen. I don't know. I can't tell you the timeline in the sense of, I can tell you the timeline in the sense of how many years it's going to take for us to elevate to the 11th dimension. However, which they told me it's going to take us until the year 3132 AD, based on the timeline that they're in now, for us to elevate fully to the 11th dimension. However, remember right now, they're just creating the jump from the 3rd to the 5th. Yeah, exactly. In the higher timelines, we don't need leaders. We will be led by a council of many, which is a spiritual council in the higher timelines. In the 5th dimensional timelines, we will be led by a council of light. Okay? We won't need to be led by presidents or world leaders. Humans. We will know innately how to take care of things properly, how to be true to the earth. All right? And like I said, the light workers that are being awakened right now, a lot of us that are light workers, we already are in contact with the Council of Light. The council that I get in contact with, they call themselves the Council of Many. So, the information that I'm getting is from the Council of Many, is what they call themselves. So, this, I guess you could say they're like archangels. I guess you could compare them to archangels, because when I look at them, they remind me very much of the archangels. They remind me very much of the higher elevated beings, the mysteries, the orishas. They're all part of this. They're all part of this elevation ladder. Okay. We're all connected. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all brothers and sisters trying to get back to our God selves. All right? So be patient. I know I'm not a very patient person. I'm a Sagittarius. It's in my nature. Okay, so the orishas, the mysteries that are of light, they are part of the plan to upgrade. They are part of the plan. Okay. The orishas of light, the mysteries of light, they are part of the plan. They are part of the ones that are creating these dimensions around. The orishas are not fake. I don't know who said that orishas are fake, but the orishas are not fake. Every orisha has a purpose. Every mystery has a purpose. All right? And they are all part of creating the light and removing the darkness. So, and even the beings, even the parts of our of the beings. Let's say, you have some mysteries that have darker sides. Even their shadows selves are being removed in this new timeline. Even their shadow cells are being removed from this timeline to shift to a higher dimension. Why would someone at the 11th dimension want to be here? Because what they said to me, because I asked the same question, why would I devolve to re-evolve? Because in order to have empathy for the beings that you will rule over, because it's a circle, it's a circle of existence, okay? To help elevate the collective. Because there are some beings that are at lower levels. So in order to have empathy for them, we have to reincarnate to experience them and experience our shadows so that we have the ability to remove them, to heal them, and then be able to upgrade. Okay? Yes, someone asked about a father and their husband having connection in their dreams. Yes, that is their souls communicating with one another. So, yeah. So that's all I wanted to bring you guys today. There's more information, but I can't get myself to try to explain it right now. All that I can explain to you is that Spirit is creating a circle of light around the earth, whether you believe it or not. Only thing I can tell you is be patient, trust in the spirits of light, and work on your shadow self, work on healing your shadows, work on removing the shadows that are holding you back. All right. Much love and blessings. What? Oh, and reminder, if you want to get notifications more quickly for when I'm going live or before I go live, you can follow me on Telegram. And in my link in bio, so that way you are able to get notifications that I'm going live before I go live. So that way, in case Instagram is delayed, you have access to the notifications beforehand. All right. Oh, someone asked a question on why are lost souls attracted to light workers? Because we are beacons of light. So if you're a light worker and a soul is lost and they don't know their path, we're supposed to be the ones that are able to help them in that time. Like, light workers are not meant to be your light workers for your entire path. They are meant to be your light workers for a certain path of your life, and be able to help you find your way back to the proper path, especially if they're true light workers and not just light workers that are trying to trick you. So that is what happens. And because a light worker can only help you at the level of their own understanding. So a light worker and Spirit may put multiple light workers in your path throughout your lifetime if they are at a higher understanding than another light worker. All right, my loves. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you have a beautiful day. So yeah, that's all. Bye-bye.